Absolute argument for consumerism being disgusting and just I'm trying, like, it's the worst place to send somebody for individualism, like to say the free market works and blah 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 blah, because Amazon pretends to like love the environment, but they make us put every single little item in a giant plastic bag in its own plastic bag, and it's just so much waste. Like, these people order the grossest Chinese cheap shit, and it just goes to landfills in Canada or landfills in Wyoming. They don't resell half that shit. Yeah, it's just a joke. It's not the cheapest thing either. Everybody, Amazon. No, they're not. What are we starting with, by the way? What's the topic when we start?
We're going to talk about Amazon and UPS.
No,
I'm kidding.
not.
No, we're not. No, I think we're just going to jump into it because I think
when I quit UPS.
By the way, I'm
fucking talk about it.
I've got the recording started. I just started it because we will naturally flow into our conversation.
Well, it's crazy now that I work for FedEx and all the bad shit FedEx does, and sorry, I had to drink a shake too. My sugar was.
No, crashing. I didn't turn you. You're good. I was still.
No, what are we starting with though?
I think we're just going to jump in right into the main topic,
which was
the morality of using human deficiency for profit is what that's I think how I will frame it.
So like the flat earth conversation.
But especially within entertainment. I should say within entertainment. We need to focus that. So we're not going to talk. Well, I mean, it could get broader, but I think that's what do you think that's a fairly accurate ball to put it in, especially when we're talking? Because, I mean, then we can kind of whittle it down to online entertainment, social media. I think those are kind of two very similar realms of whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let Placebo present his initial thesis.
The way today's episode to be the Placebo show.
The way you've described it is like we're gonna start broad and push in.
You're starting.
My argument starts.
You start.
In.
How about this? You start it, and then we'll go off of that, and then I will set the title of the video according to you.
All right.
Well, so here. Are we recording?
Yeah, we're gone.
Are we live too, or are we just recording?
No, we're just recording. Okay, I got past the live. That didn't work. I don't like that.
You can't. Yeah, it doesn't work with the streaming.
Yeah.
So premise one that we may or may not agree with here. I think I am arguing based on many data points for a conclusion. It's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, therefore 5. It's many data points that I think paint a picture of a conclusion. So first premise, I think that the people who watch Twitch streams are generally not that well adjusted and not that mature or self-regulative.
Oh boy, you guys did set me up.
This is heavy. I know.
I'm ready. All right. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's totally fine. But I guess I do have that belief about the people that watch Twitch streams. Would we generally agree or disagree with that belief?
Generally, define not well adjusted? You mean socially?
Yes. Or I guess the emotional regulation is more of what I was leaning on, right? Like maybe a self-confidence, a regulation of one's mental state, the ability to have a bit of fortitude in the face of adversity, right? It's like the maturity in a sense, right? There's a maturity element that is lacking as well. So it's just, in many aspects, they are just not quite where they should be. They're a bit deficient in many aspects. That's my position.
So I would agree with your statement only I don't think it's a Twitch-specific issue. I think it's a society-specific issue. My evidence is going to be more anecdotal just because I work in a very heavy retail environment, 45 hours or 50 hours a week. And I can tell you that the experience I have with the thousands of people I meet every week in retail are as crazy, if not crazier, more rude, more disgusting than the people that I hang out with on a nightly basis that support me on Twitch. So just because I think that parasocial relationship, I think I'm saying the right word, Preach, let me know.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times that because we become quote unquote friends and they're with me every night, that they might be crazy to other people, a lot of them, but they're very integrated and well adjusted into the environment that they're in every night for 2 to 3 hours. But obviously there's always cases. Like I get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
I love
God.
it.
We've had wild Preach and I have seen wild ass shit for the past 7 years, wherever we went on Twitch, Kick, Facebook Gaming, wherever. But I can just tell you, I don't think it's specific to just that. That might be more introverted people where they go to release and they go to act a little nuts or they go to. But out in the real world, there are some rude, not well adjusted people that I see. I'd say 5 to 10%, to be honest with you. Maybe. Am I explaining it right? Like you get those 80, 90 people very nice all day, and then you get those 10 to 15 or whatever that ruin your shit.
Yeah, I know.
They stick out.
Let me ask you a question. So you said something. You said they were adjusted to the environment of online, and I think that's part of what this argument will, the event or this debate. I hate argument because it makes it seem negative. This debate will kind of head towards is that because Twitch and streaming sets up like as a core, or not a core maybe, but I think the streamers themselves do kind of decide the environment in which their content is being developed in. And so it's saying like, let's say it's the environment leads to everybody thinks it's fun. I mean, I feel like you'd see this a little bit with Tim the Tatman, but Peanut or whatever, it does increase, like it does set up a antagonistic or hey, your testicles are blue, blah, you know, there is a little bit of that where it's like the responsibility is on the it could be a different environment, but it is created this way so that's why it's almost like the environment is set for people who are somewhat maladjusted to seem like they fit in well because that's the environment. It's kind of like we talk about boys' locker room, right? You have locker room humor, something you wouldn't say in the presence of a lady, but you will say amongst a bunch of guys.
So like some streams are like a locker room and others are like, you know, a fine dining experience.
No, I don't want to say even fine dining, but yes. Well, so you're kind of right. There is an element
like
where
anything.
There's not a lot of like high-end academic philosophical live streams, right? Like that doesn't really. Twitch is not. I don't see any of the big boppers on Twitch being like, let's sit together and let's look over the textbook. Correct. Those don't take off. Like by nature, that's not really the content that makes money or.
So is it then shades of degeneracy? Is it you know it's all kind of below the line and it's just very different elements?
I don't think it's all degenerate. I don't think my streams are particularly degenerate, but I do like. But we noticed this yesterday, right? Like there is an element of online streaminess, right? Like there is where you have to engage people. It isn't the same as just a flat-on, real, genuine conversation. There is like, oh, well, we said something. I now need to bring the chat into this and have them also feel like they're engaged in it. So there is a personality switch. I would say the personalities that I present during these podcasts has a different flow and a different vibe than the podcast than when I'm streaming. Like there is a little bit different flow to it. So I think I'm just putting that out as a data point. We can maybe I don't want to like completely disrupt the discourse. We can kind of I'm writing down the points. But I do there's something there. I think it's kind of like social media, right? Like I think there is a parallel to where social media does by its inherent nature kind of bring out. It highlights people who may not have the best intentions or the best, you know, it's.
But I think you get that in a lot of different places. I think you get that in the Catholic Church when all the men decided to hide there in the 80s because they knew that was a spot. Not every priest, not every whoever religious leader was doing that. Clearly it was a low percentage, but they did so much damage. Or like today, like public schools, all the teachers. A lot of teachers are getting caught doing things. So I think Preach is right in where it's an anonymous environment somewhat, because you have a screen name. You can make your screen name whatever you want. And then you can go in and say whatever you want. So I don't know. It's tough for me because even a police department has a couple of awful.
Absolutely.
That's why they have internal affairs, right?
Absolutely.
So that's why we have The Departed. Great movie, by the way.
But I think, and I don't know if Preacher was right on the money with it, but I think what I'm trying to get at, and I think what Preacher's trying to get at, is like, does the system or the environment favor those like the bad police officers, right? Is the system set up in such a way that it tends to produce or reward or I hope you get what I'm saying, because I can't quite finish.
Yeah, the more violent a UFC fight is, the more buys they're going to have. If it's a boring fight and people are just dancing around each other and no one's throwing punches, nobody's buying that shit.
Yeah.
But if they're getting knocked out violently, you're going to attract a bigger audience, right?
You know what's a great example of this is modern media news, right? Like, they always put out
they suck.
Negative stuff. It's the most fantastic, crazy, right? They have to take insane positions because going, oh, hey, this person helped a lady cross the street, doesn't bring in the views. But if you're like, this guy banged a dog and then hit a homeless man over the head with that dog, everybody's like, oh, I got to watch the news story to hear about this craziness. And so I do think there's a,
Yeah, there's a sensationalism to it, is what you're talking about. And
well,
then
it's like
also,
there's an yes. I'm saying there's a reason for certain things have certain environments that do. In other words, yes, there are some police officers, but I do think Twitch is not for bad, but we're talking about for maladjusted, or not even maladjusted, but it does encourage it enhances the parasocial element. It does enhance that, like, it is built so that there is a higher percentage, is I guess what I'm saying. I think it would be, people are more likely to engage with it than they would a book club or a YouTube channel that looks at, bioethics or something. You know what I mean? Like, there is something about streaming that it does increase it a little bit. It's not just like other elements of society that, like, it happens. I think you were getting that a little bit with, like, certain environments do encourage it, but I do, yes, from what I was seeing, like, from my studies, a big part of it was streaming is very much about relationships. Now, it may be perceived relationships, but it is about relationships. Like, that's, you have the sub rankings, right? And that encourages people to give money, whether they have it or not, because some people want that fame and they can't, but it's there, so it entices it. And then if you pay to get your comment highlighted, right? It's, ooh, you're special. You paid money. Or, there is something to, like, it's built for that. Twitch on their end did build it to encourage, like, a parasocial element to where, like you said, you can do your own screen name. So you can pretend to be, I mean, how many times have we had multiple people in our streams? It's one guy or one girl, and they come back as different personas, various times, trying to get the attention. And if the last one didn't work, well, now, they come back as another one. And so there is that element of that it does kind of, like, encourage that. It does build that. So I can see that part of it, that I do think, just like social media, it's yes, it does encourage that that type of interaction between people. It does kind of twist it a little bit. It does pull at maybe the negative elements of their weaknesses, right? Like, let's say somebody is shy, but they've always wanted to be a social butterfly. It will encourage them to maybe overshoot to get that feeling because they can get it. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of it doesn't teach them to regulate or whatever. I don't know. I can see that. I guess I'm just, there's a bit there. Yes, there is something about streaming. I'm going to keep putting streaming and social media because they are very similar in how they impact the user's psychology. That it does encourage, maybe not the best to always be the loudest, if that makes sense.
So to Placebo's point about what was the word you used? Degeneracy or the
deficiency? I think
deficiency.
there's some
Sorry.
deficiencies in the
Yeah, you're right, because those are two. Those are two.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure
I used
clear.
degeneracy earlier as to sort of try to figure out what Preacher was saying, and I don't think it was totally degeneracy.
It's more. You're right. Deficiency. Yeah.
Deficiency. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily Twitch itself or Kick or whatever we're talking about these streaming platforms to blame. I think they're very smart in their monetization policies. A lot of them, you have to, as a business, you have to monetize and give people what they want. I think it's the fact that so many people think they can be a streamer. So many people have the dream to go do this. To be the Kai, what's his name? The Sinat, yeah, that guy. To be that level, or Jake Paul, or I mean, shit, I'd get my jaw broke for 60 mil. Bring it on, or whoever it is. That there's millions of people who are not natural entrepreneurs, who are not. They're not. They just don't have it. They have skills to do other things. It's not judgment call on whether or not they're good people or not. But the pool is so big that a lot of these streamers think they have to go so crazy and so over the top to get where they need to go that they're pushing the envelope. And I think that's a self-perpetuating system of attracting the deficiency. Like it's just the streamers themselves that are like, they're doing crazy shit. I mean, they're jumping around and they're having they say wild things.
Sexual assault on camera, right? Like the two ladies, the lady that
My argument for Twitch is they don't mod their own streamers fairly and effectively, and they have kind of gray rules. So if there's one downfall to a site like Twitch or YouTube, by the way, or Facebook, they all will tell you violated our policy, and then you go, well, how did I violate it? Well, I don't know, you just violated it. That's it. You're in trouble. But then the next person does the same thing by beating a cat on stream or whatever else. They don't get punished. So if we're going to blame the websites for creating the attraction of the deficient, it's that they don't have a very clear hockey rink that the rules need to be established to be played in and create in, number one. But number two, I would just say it's so many people going for the gold rush, like your clip I saw you the other day about the gold rush. They're all going for the gold rush. And like you had said, Twitch is going to make the money on it. Elgato's going to make the money on it. The microphone guy's going to make the money on it. And 1% of the people who are rushing out to find gold are going to find gold.
Anything, exactly.
And the other 99% are going to get dysentery and die on the Oregon fucking Trail. That's what's going to happen, right? So, but I will say in defense, real quick, in defense of the people that I can speak in just from the thousands of people that I have met over the years. A vast majority of them, and I've traveled the country and met them in person, so I can actually say some of this. I've shook their hand and flown out to their homes. They've invited me into their homes. They've been insanely kind to me. Preach became my best friend off of doing this. Foxy became my best friend off of doing this. So, like, the people I have met and the people who come every night, I genuinely do care for them, most of them, a lot of them, and I think they care for me. When the dog passed away, Patton, they paid, the community paid to have him cremated and memorialized.
It's wonderful.
So just saying, like, so I know you're hitting the paperwork, but I'm just saying anecdotally, the people that I've met, I give you the same percentage, 5 to 10%, just like retail. Yeah, roughly. Crazy.
I don't think he's saying they're bad. I think
so.
No. I'm saying
deficient.
Well, no.
But I'm saying I went out and met these fucking people in person.
And they weren't. Yeah.
And they were not in person. They were Brody. Great guy, right? Brody, I met him in person. I was friends with him for 2 years online. I went out and met him in Vegas. First thing he says is, "Holy shit, Ply, you're big." When we met each other, he thought I was a shorter guy. And then we were buddies. It was like we knew each other for 2 years. We just skipped the whole awkward shit, and we went right to having a good time. So I've met, as I'm saying, I just met a lot of these people who are screen names on person, and in person, I think they're a little more well adjusted than we think when we actually have human to human interaction.
Yeah, but isn't that making the point that some of them may? I think that's kind of Placebo's point. Is if they were meeting in person more often as opposed to using the social media, you do tend to self-regulate a little bit more. Whereas putting them in that environment, it allows those deficiencies to become a little more prevalent, a little more, they can engage in. It's porn, right? Like you can't go around and just be like, hey, babe, can I come on your face? You can't do that in real life. But in porn, man, you can just hours,
Your cigar club.
Yeah.
Remember years ago when people didn't know and people were sending you dirty messages in a cigar club?
Yeah. I had a guy offer.
If you met that guy in person,
aggressive sexual favors.
Yes, but that's not going to happen. Well, it might happen in real life. You are a sexy beast, so that might happen in real life. But I'm guessing it wouldn't. So,
no, I agree. There's something about the online environment that makes
they do. Yeah, keyboard warriors. That's why we call them keyboard warriors. They're when you're anonymous, you're not. Well, I guess the true morality of your soul kind of comes out a little more when you are anonymous. Because when you are alone and you have no chance of getting quote unquote caught, and when the only eyes on you are the Lord's, and you act in a good way, then that's when you can kind of soothe yourself a little bit and say, okay, I hope I made God happy because no one else is good. I didn't do that thing. I didn't do that bad thing. I made the right decision when it was tough, or I was alone and I'm not going to get credit for it.
Yeah, I do think that's important. Not getting credit for doing the right things. Yes.
Well, no, I get it.
No, I agree with you. I'm agreeing.
I agree with Placebo, by the way. I agree with Placebo, I guess, as we broaden out it. I don't think it's just on Twitch. I think that's just society in general. I think it's just an avenue where you're going to get that shit. So
okay.
I have two things real quick about what so first with what you had said about Twitch and the many people striving to dig the gold, right, wanting to be the ones to find the gold. I completely agree with you about every single bit of that, 100%. The second thing about you flying out and meeting many of your supporters, your audience members, I totally believe every bit of that. I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. And I believe that many people could have that experience. And I am not saying that every single person who watches Twitch has these deficiencies, right?
Yeah, I understand.
But I am saying that a larger percentage of people who watch Twitch have these deficiencies than people who do not, right? If you took two groups, the people who watch and the people who do not, I do think, and I would say if you took three groups, people who watch Twitch, sports fans, and people and people who are neither, right? I think the Twitch group and the sports fans are relatively synonymous. Right?
We've had this, me and Placebo, and I was 100% agree. Like, I'm like the people who tick me off maybe more than even the political and religious people on like Twitch or on TikTok. I don't know. Twitter. Yeah, I'm going to start calling it X because there's too many T-named social media platforms. But X it's the sport. Like the sports fans are psycho. They're just the craziest, most unhinged human beings.
But that sort of gets at my point here is that I think there are two different elements that are played upon by the two systems, right? The sports and the
tribalism
Twitch.
too.
It is a sort of tribalism, I think, for sports specifically more so than the Twitch one. With the Twitch one, I think it's this parasocial idolization factor that diminishes. I don't think it favors the living of a good life to live it in such an online parasocial way with another person, right? Like, if you see someone who is a bit way too into like a fandom, right? Like Spider, like
K-pop's bad with this. K-pop's another example of this. Yes,
way too into a certain fandom. I think Twitch generally favors that, right? And I think many of the things that they put out as updates or quality of life features are really just ways for a streamer to sort of monetize the attention that they're willing to give their people, right? Oh, well, now we have sub-trains. Now we have this thing, that thing. And it's all just ways to sort of extract money.
Like a casino.
To some degree.
It's the bells and whistles. It's like Facebook notifications.
I see what you're saying now. Yes, there are tricks in a casino to get, but isn't that predatory in a negative way that shouldn't be the case?
Okay,
right. And
I wrote this down. When Ply said this, and he said something about how like Twitch is really good at monetization, and what I wrote is monetization is money an excuse, but it's like is monetization an excuse for enhancing negative human traits? Like, is that a reason, or should we as humans say, even though this would make money, it is not the most moral decision, so we should make the most moral decision even if it is not profitable. That's I think one of the main
the fulcrum on which
the fulcrum of which a lot of this goes
is a very important point.
Is the monetization a worthy cause to enhance immoral, or not necessarily moral, but
I don't see the monetization as necessarily moral one way or the other. I see the monetization as a tool, and the streamers and the people who use it are responsible for the outcomes of it.
Okay. Can I throw at you an option of, I guess, how I view it as moral?
Sure.
Right. So
yeah.
I do believe there are people on Twitch who will spend more money than they actually have access to for attention because they feel the need in their heart for it, right? Like, oh, I will spend all of my money on this thing because like I watch a guy on YouTube named Larry Wheels. You know who Larry Wheels is? The giant bodybuilder, right? Like, strong dude. He's so funny. And he posted a video, I think 3 years ago, saying, hey, I wanted to share an addiction and a thing that I'm dealing with right now. For the last 3 years, I've been spending all of my money on cam girls, right? Every night I go and I absolutely, he was like, yes, I get on OnlyFans and I've been spending all of my money on it. And I can't stop. And I'm making a dedicated thing that I will stop. And I guess it's an extreme example, but it's, I think, perfectly parallel to what I'm believing people do with Twitch somewhat often, right? And I'm certainly not saying they do it in your chat or any specific. I think this happens on Twitch. People will spend all of their money trying to be seen a certain way or get certain levels of attention because they have a deficiency of self-courage or self-knowledge or confidence. I hope that position makes sense. That's where I view it as moral.
Well, it's kind of like casinos.
No, I would just say that I see the monetization problem you're talking about. I could point to almost every business in the United States that takes advantage of someone's deficiency, like retail therapy. Like, look up how many people, majority ladies, if you look it up, the amount of Amazon packages that come to their fucking door every day to make themselves feel better about themselves because there's something deficient in their life and they're spending money they don't have. And having these packages all show up every day. Oh, look at this thing I got. Look at that thing I got. They're patching some wound. They're an Amazon, by the way, which owns Twitch. So I guess we're doing a circular argument here. But because they own actual Twitch. Yeah. So they monetize when you go on their website. Look at this. Buy this. Do that. Bells and whistles. Every retailer does that. I mean, I know that's
I don't disagree. I didn't.
No, I'm just saying. So I do agree with you that there are some people who are going to spend more money than maybe they're budgeted for. I would say that that they have the right to spend their money too. So I have an argument. Like, I feel like maybe they shouldn't. They should be keeping their electric bill clean.
Yeah, it's kind of like casinos, right? I mean, that's why I brought out casinos. Casinos absolutely make their money off of other people spending money they shouldn't be spending.
The house always wins, bro.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason casinos have money. It's because the players don't win, and they know it. And there's so many people whose lives have been ruined because they can't stop. And that's why there's a lot of questions, right? Like, in my state, they got rid of online gambling. They December 19th. The site I used to play on a little bit because I could control it. I didn't, but state.us got completely. It's no longer can you play because they did find it to be like enough immoral, and I think it was also the online access made it easy. You didn't have to go to a casino. You didn't have to try. Like, it was just while you're at home taking a dump, you're sitting there just spinning slots and blowing money. So I do think that is an element that we can. In other words, just because it's possible doesn't mean we have to let. I guess there is a question there. Like, how much do we let people screw themselves over? It's like drugs. Do we, that's a pretty big argument, right?
I was going to start the podcast with, okay, here's my question. Is it wrong for drug dealers to deal drugs? But I thought maybe not. That's a bit.
No, because everybody goes to CVS to get them. They're drug dealers too. So, mean, we're going to pull that in. I mean, we're
going to say one's regulated.
Big pharma, alcohol, all the hypocrisy all over the place. So I agree with you there.
But I didn't start with that.
No, but I am going to say, just on a personal note, Preach, what you're talking about gambling, so I can talk about one of my deficiencies.
So wait, Ply, are you saying we should regulate streaming? Because drugs are regulated. Alcohol is regulated to a degree, right? So there is an element of regulation. Like we do more. We're like, listen, children can't morally make this decision.
I think I'm saying we should regulate it. I think it's my.
I know. I'm making a joke.
I know you are. I know.
Teasing Ply a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to make the argument from a personal perspective of what Preach is talking about with the online gambling and stuff. When I was going through a pretty hard time a few years ago, in my state, DraftKings is pretty big. You can do slot. I'm in a blue state, so you can basically do whatever you want, right? Except you just pay insane amount of taxes. So I almost fell into that trap because I was hurt and I was lonely. So for a few months, I started spinning the wheels a little too much.
I actually remember you told me about this. Yeah.
And I had to. After I looked at it, and I wasn't down a lot. So don't get me wrong. I ended up spending a couple grand. I ended up losing a total of maybe $400 or $500 over a couple of months, up or down. It was just going. But I said, what am I doing? This is my entertainment at night because I'm lonely. Right. After my show, I would I would just sit there and like an old lady with Virginia Slims at a casino, and I would sit there and do that. And I was weak for a while, and I almost fell into it. Chasing that, you'd win $200. Well, let's make that 400. Or you're down $50. Like, I got to get my $50 back. So from a personal level, I have felt that deficiency, and I had to cut it off, and it wasn't easy. I erased it off my computer. I got rid of it. And now, I don't. Now I'm like, I'm not in that.
But that was okay. So let me ask the question. So this, you said that, but you didn't have the deficiency where you had a lack of deficiency where you could recognize it and make the decision to correct it. There's a lot of people who don't have that. Like that.
Yeah, but a lot of people are stuck in that position where I was.
Yeah, well, no, I'm saying I get that element, but I'm just saying like
could feel it.
You could feel it, but you also had that extra something in your brain that clicks and says, whoa,
Mm-hmm.
This is destroying my life if I keep doing this. And there's some other people who like, right, you have alcoholics, you have drug. So there is like, I guess the question
vices will replace vices are there designed to band-aid deficiencies.
And I guess this is what I mean by
but I don't.
You combine this with Twitch, sort of, in my opinion, right? Which I think you've disagreed with, but I suppose I still believe it attracts the people with those deficiencies, and then they are unable to self-regulate. And then when they're in this state that is, I would say, similar to perhaps what you experienced, you pulled yourself out of it. These people, because they are deficient, they don't have that capacity. They don't have that ability to do it. They need help to actually get out of it. But rather than help to get out of it, what Twitch and these other industries do is they push them a bit deeper, I think.
Yeah, it's like a credit card company. It's the same shit. Like they all do it.
I don't disagree.
But I don't think it's like, all right, so my show, I can talk about my show. My number one goal on the show is not to make money. My number one goal on the show, and I've said this for 7 years, is to make people who've had a hard day laugh and have a good time and take it out on Ply at night. And I've given them the tools, free and otherwise, to take it out on me at night. My number one goal is for them, and I've had numerous people who I care about very much send me messages. Thank you. Just you know what I mean? I'm like I've designed it kind of like the Vince McMahon Stone Cold Steve Austin feud from years ago. I'm the boss, and they're all Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they feel good when they get to stun me in the middle of the ring and the crowd cheers. Now, they can do that for a fee, which, is fair, or they can do it for free. If they watch, they earn things, and they can do it that way, too. So I don't have – not everything is monetized. But my number one goal and the number one way I feel the best – is when they tell me I had a great time tonight.
Absolutely.
I was laughing. And I love it when they check on each other. I love it when they play video games with each other. And I love it when they message each other. I love it when someone says in the Discord, hey, I don't like it when something bad happens to somebody. That's not what I mean. Sure. But I like it when everybody else comes in and we're able to. Like, we had a pioneer who mother and father passed away pretty close together in 2025. We were able to raise a decent amount of money to help him with the expenses for his funeral for his mother.
Yeah.
Or vice versa, when one of my best friend and Preach's buddies, when Stevie died, we raised a shit ton of money to help his family bury one of our best friends. And my dog, like I said. So those moments too, you see the good in people rise up when they take care of each other. And that, obviously, I need to keep the lights on and pay the bills. You know what I mean? I get that. But that is ultimately what makes it the most worth it to me. And that's a streamer's choice. So some of the streamers you might be talking about or seeing might be taking advantage like a dirty businessman would or businesswoman would, and they're pushing that hard, and that's how they, they're at the top. But yeah, that's all I'm just saying. I've seen the other side of it too, where those great things can happen, and they genuinely do start to care about each other just as much as maybe me.
I would say, well, I'm going to have another point on this, but just with that last thing.
Sorry.
The same thing with X, right? Like, we've talked about this, where there's news now that we, like the whole Somalian thing, right? Like, that only happens because
we all should just open a luring center. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but people learned of it only because there's citizen journalism now that can present like facts that we normally would have had been complete 0% of the 15 official news organizations had a single article on any of this. So there is an element where it's good, but there's also bad. And so it's like, I don't think anything's purely bad or purely good. So I don't you know what I mean? Like, the mafia gave out turkeys for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if you could ever like completely. So I agree with you on this on that element. And so I'm going to ask you something. And
but I think we can look at the percentages, right? Like how much good activity is happening, how much bad activity is happening.
That's true too,
right? We can sort of run a cost-benefit analysis, right?
Okay, yeah, that might be something that needs to be.
I would also say that cost-benefit analysis would have to be almost broken down because there's so many channels on Twitch. You'd have to see each individual creator is responsible for his or her own community and what they're doing. I don't pay attention to 99.9% of other streamers. I don't even look at a lot of their stuff, and I'm rooting for everybody. I want everybody to be successful as they deserve, but I have my own parking spot, and I keep my parking spot, and I try to get everybody to my parking spot. So I'm not even paying attention to a lot of times, even when Preach brings up, oh, did you see what this guy said, or Hassan or whoever, that douche. So there you go. There's degenerate right there. There's that whole thing's degenerate. So there we found a big one. But I have to look it up when he says it because I'm so focused on my lane and my people and getting new people to me and my business philosophy. I'm not even paying attention to half the 99.9% of these people we're talking about. So anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
So this part, you can ask me and I'll edit it out. Okay. So I'm putting that beforehand. We can edit this out.
Okay. So to me, I was like, all right, well, I haven't changed my show since you and I have had that conversation, Preach. I don't think there's any changing that really needs to happen, whether someone wants to push a button or not. I don't force anybody to push buttons.
Yeah.
I don't charge for everything.
So I do have a question. The free stuff is obviously not quite as high quality as the paid stuff, right? Like the free stuff is like, you'll have a fart.
God, no.
And then the other one is like a 5-minute like music video play, so also, I know, but also too, we donate to charity every night too. Okay. We donate to the dog shelter that Patton came from whenever they play Patton Sticker, which they love. And we donate to the Children's Shriners every time they play Stevie Sticker that I've kept there, so Stevie's name never dies. And so every month I'm sending a check for $50, $62, whatever, to those charities, and they all know that too. So there's always, I do my best to provide the most value that I absolutely can to the audience. I agree with that,
I have no doubt.
I'm trying to justify in my mind that I am not a carpetbagger. I am not a robber baron.
Absolutely.
And I take the shot at 125 points. I take the gummy at 25. Like I have it all. I send out merch at 1,000 points. Someone wins. No streamer that I hazard to bet does as much as I do to try to take care of them too, because they're the show. Mm-hmm. So if they don't do anything, Ply just sits there and so the more
I don't want you to feel like I'm targeting you with
I was the one that made it just because he said it, and it triggered that in my brain, and that's why I said we can edit this out, because I just wanted to ask John what he thought and how that
maybe-
process
I don't
worked.
feel
just so I know
attacked.
it.
I can only
Okay.
speak to you from my experience
Yeah,
doing it. Is what
that's
I'm
that's
trying
all I
to
was
say.
that's all I was asking
And
for.
that's-
But
Yeah,
I do
that's-
not feel attacked.
Okay.
I have people call me a Nazi and an incel every day and all this other bullshit on the internet. I don't care what anybody says, and I love you anyway, so you can tell me whatever you want. So
you seem like a stand-up guy to me. You're
yeah,
just
I don't
you're
care.
the insider.
Oof.
You know, if I could have this conversation with Hassan, who I think is actually a contributor to this
Grifter.
negative thing,
Yes.
it probably would be
Yeah.
better for me to have the conversation with him, but he's not here. So you are our
Yeah.
insider.
you are the
Well,
representative.
you know who
yeah.
else is here? Come here. You know who else is here?
you puppies.
Maverick is here.
Yes.
And you know what? I've never shocked him. I've never had to put a shock collar on my little baby.
So
All right,
I do have one further moral inquiry if we're good
Yes.
with that.
Keep
right?
going. No,
Yeah, you
okay.
can
By the way,
all
we're
day
back. We're
long,
back on the
baby.
recorded. The edited
Okay,
part is
okay.
gone.
Yeah,
We're
I
back.
hope that was satisfactory.
No,
I know
that's
it was a
fine.
little
Yeah,
gray, but
you explain.
I was
I was
trying to
asking
find
for
new
your
avenues.
thinking. I was
Okay,
asking
go
for your thinking. That's what I was going for. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, you identified something that I think a lot of streamers claim that they do, and I think they're correct about, but I think it's an oversight. They say, oh, well, I provide a system for people to feel good, feel happy, right? If they do a thing, right? If they type in chat, this, that, the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it provides a stimulation that they get then dopamine from to feel good about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that perhaps it would be better if instead, so Kant had this theory that our base desires drive
Immanuel
us like
Kant,
a tyrant.
spelled K-A-H-A-N-T, just to make sure people didn't misunderstand what he said.
Immanuel
Okay.
Kant thought that, we have these base desires that are just innate to humanity, right? Like when you see a hot woman out there, you want to have sex with her, right? When you see money on the ground, you want to take it for yourself, right? And it is only through conquering these base desires that we actually attain any level of freedom from what our body naturally tells us to do, right? And
Similar
I think
to
of-
Christianity's original set, right? We are flawed, and then we have to be
Yes.
saved from that that inherent flawed nature. Yes.
And so, this sort of self-control aspect that, I've struggled with before. There have been times in my life where I did not have self-control, and now I feel much more capable and much more possessing of that self-control, but I know it's a muscle, right? And if I don't use it, I will lose it, right? It will go away. And so I think when these streamers provide all these avenues for quick stimulation, quick dopamine, I think of it almost the same way as pornography, right? Where rather than get that quick stimulation, what would be better for everyone involved is to exert a level of self-control over their situation and over their mentality. And instead of choosing the quick dopamine, choose to go without and sort of endure or press on. And does that make sense? Is this a
Yeah, it does. It does. I can counter that for just from my show, from my experience. I do think you are correct in that it's a moment in time that they're paying for or that they're earning through points or whatever else. However, I do think there's a long-term benefit to the people who are in the Plyrock Nation show as well, because as they do that and as they get to know each other and they become friends with each other too, so they do, when someone's in there all the time, let's just say they're not spending their electricity bill. Because the majority of them do not. I can tell when who's doing what, and based upon their sleep schedules and their work schedules and when they pummel me and all that kind of stuff.
You can
So
tell when people get their paychecks in. Yeah.
I can just honestly tell that I think a majority of the pioneers actually have self-control and they plan out when they're going to kick my ass. Like they don't just kick my ass Monday through Saturday. They're like, they will tell each other, hey, I get paid on Tuesday. I got a little ready to kick his ass.
I'm coming for you. Get ready. Yeah.
So they'll say, hey, X, Y, and Z, you take care of them today. I got them Thursday. Like they actually do that in the chat. And that's part of the show too. Because then I'm like, no, you won't, blah, 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 So,
Right.
But I will say that I think the value in some of the things that they do, it's not just the stickers and the Tangias and all the things they can do monetarily. The comments they may make, it's all like a cohesive orchestra. And then they become part of that orchestra and they love being the cellist in that orchestra. And then they get to know the flute person and then they get to know the violinist and then they get to know the composer. I'm the fucking composer. But they get to know like and they become, I see it on the other side off the show. So I see it in the Discord or they'll text message me. A lot of them have my phone number. Hey, yo, you want to play Division tonight or you want to do this or... hey, we're gonna rip some Borderlands. I have them on the show. I'll bring in viewers sometimes to play games with me because I actually like them, or we're friends too. So I don't think it's an all or nothing 12-second, haha, I did this to you for a buck. Is what I'm saying.
I think that I'm loving this because you ever play like a good ping pong rally where it's just back and forth and back and forth? It feels so good.
Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump.
I am absolutely loving it. I think maybe this is where I need to rely on Preacher's expertise because, like you said, you only have your show and your sort of small stream system.
Yeah, my huge show.
Medium stream, but okay. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about like.
Okay, to be fair, in my research, Ply was considered on the small end.
Example.
Yes,
yeah.
On the Disney State, he was because that
was a while ago though.
Well, yeah, you'd still fall. My qualification was like
Instagram, bro.
I thought you liked getting hit.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like in the grand scheme, you have the people who who have millions of followers, and then you have like the middle average dad who have like say 1,000 concurrent viewers, and they have maybe a few 100,000, and then I had the smaller, which was like 10,000 followers and under 100 concurrent viewers. That was my, if you're looking at the grand scheme of all of streamers, right. Yes, I'm not insulting. I'm just saying if you're
I'm joking.
Charting. Okay, continue.
So I guess, Preacher, you see where I'm going with this, right? Like is what I think Ply has identified are the benefits of community that can come with the smaller, more intimate streams.
Okay, I didn't say that, but yeah.
And so perhaps I have correctly identified some potential problems, but there are also some pros that make it a good trade-off overall, right? It's no solutions, only trade-offs. Is it the case with a big stream, like a Tim the Tatman stream or Peanut stream or something like that? Is it the case that my identified negatives still exist, but those positives do not, right? Because that seems likely to me that those positives that
okay, so some of them
Peanut's a special case, Preach.
Well, I was going to say even like Cloaksy. Like, okay, so somebody donated 50 subs, which is like $250.
Yeah.
And he missed it. He didn't call their name out. And it was like 30 minutes later, and then he saw it. He was like, oh, man, are they even here anymore? And he didn't see them. And so he was like, I think I'm going to have to refund this because they didn't get their moment of shine. And then the guy came in, actually, it was probably like 5 minutes later, and donated another 50. And he's like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry I missed your blah, blah, blah. Hey, man, let me give you your moment of shine, right? But that is kind of getting to what Placebo said is like, but we don't know. That guy could be a CEO.
In Saudi Arabia.
When you're that big, you're getting people who, they spent more money on the hooker they had that morning. I mean,
right.
So...
I
don't know. It's interesting. But they do have
one quote while you do this. Quote. I promise
you.
This is gonna help. Michael Jordan was approached one time about his gambling problem by a reporter, and the reporter came up to him when he was still in the NBA, and they said, "There's a report that you spent $100,000 last night at the casino. What do you have to say for yourself? Do you think it's healthy to spend $100,000 at the casino?" And Michael Jordan looked right at that reporter and said, "Listen, no disrespect, but $100,000 to me is different than $100,000 to you." End of story. I'm not taking any more questions. I don't have a problem. So, like what Preach was just saying, 50 subs. This could be some abs. You never know. And there could be. Preach and I call them whales.
That's
and get a whale.
Well, that's a whole other moral argument, though. Like, would it be better for that person to help a widowed mother with that? If Michael Jordan could have helped a widowed mother, because there's always that element. It's like you can't tell people what to do with their money, and you can't always expect everybody for every single extra dollar to always spend it in some grandiose moral way. You gotta have fun, but also how much is that is like too much. Like at what point in time does it become socially irresponsible?
Who makes that decision? And not to pick on Cloaksy, Cloaksy, that's why I have listen, I debate that within my soul and my brain too, which is why I set up the auto charity things. And that's why I've always talked to Preach when we get big, I'm going to open a dog shelter in Patton's name. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, these are my ultimate goals are always to make people laugh and to help people and puppies based upon my personal experience. Cloaksy might have the same goal. I don't know. It's up to the individual streamer themselves, and who am I to shit and poo-poo on Cloaksy pulling in 100 subs? He's doing something right. when he's entertaining somebody to do
Peanut, that's what he's
something.
doing, right? No.
Yeah, well, Peanut's a whole different level. And by the way, being a bungalater, Placebo, this would be an argument against you saying bigger streamers lose those benefits.
Okay.
The bungalators, his fans, from my experience watching some of Peanut, that's the 1.1% of streamer I actually watch sometimes. His fans and his online presence, I think, does more good for the world than bad. I think his fans are actually really good people and people with some of the greatest sense of humor on the internet.
They're almost counter Hassans. Like, I know people say Asmongold, but I think Peanut is also
he attracts the most laid back, everything's funny type of people.
Don't take anything serious. It's almost the counter cancel culture.
Yes, it's the opposite of Hassan. It's the opposite of maybe a Dr. Disrespect now, maybe not Dr. Disrespect 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But he actually encourages, I don't know what he does for charity or anything. I don't know. I'm sure he does. Peanut seems like a good dude. To me, if he's not, he plays one of the best good dudes. He's O.J. Simpson level good dude on screen. Right. If he's not a real good dude, which, you know what I mean? Like,
he's
I agree. That level.
If he was actually a psycho, he would be playing it as good as OJ did back in the day, where everybody thought he was.
Yeah, OJ was a Naked Gun. We all thought he was the nicest guy ever. So what I'm saying is, the one streamer that I could point to, Placebo, to counter your argument in community would be Burnt Peanuts community. I think they are some of the most lovable people on the planet. I would put my money on it. I really, streaming wise, preach. I'm talking about just streaming.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to, because I do think like some people have blamed him for ruining certain games and stuff, like because his community will replicate the way he plays for fun to make jokes, but then they will go out and do the stuff he does, and it kind of sometimes ruins the experience for everybody who's not a bungalater or who's trying to play the game, do it their way. So there's a counter there that it can. Yeah. Sometimes people take. Almost to Placebo's point, they idolize him so much that they don't separate him doing it as entertainment and going, oh, he can do this because he's doing it for a funny show. This is entertainment. This is the same as if I'm watching a movie. They go, oh, this is how I should actually act in real life. Well, and then they start kind of apply. So I agree with you and disagree. I think there's a balance.
Puts up every show, do not try this at home. Like wrestling fans,
maybe streamers should start doing that.
Out. I do.
Yeah, I know you do. I know. I'm just saying, larger streamers.
My show is because of the WWE, but I'm just saying they put up that do not try this at home. These are professionals. I mean, so I think you're gonna get that, like Sergeant Slaughter back in the I might be aging myself a little bit, but Sergeant Slaughter back in the late '80s was a huge WWE. He was the WWF champion. He was like super famous. He was in G.I. Joe when we were kids, right? He, in storyline in the WWE, he defected and became an Iraqi general during the first Iraqi war, the first Iraq war. Preach, I don't know if you remember this a little bit.
Oh, I do. I remember, yeah.
Hulk Hogan came to the defense of America. And Sergeant Slaughter got so many death threats, so many legitimate death threats, they had to move WrestleMania from the Los Angeles Coliseum, 130,000 seats or whatever it was. They had to move it to the LA Lakers indoor 20,000 seat arena because they thought people were going to kill Sergeant Slaughter. Wow. So this happens everywhere. By the way, I'm proud of Sergeant Slaughter. That's the ultimate fucking heel move. But
for the show, that's a big thing.
And now today nobody hates him. Everybody looks at him like one of the greatest performers of all time.
Well, like people used to hate Joffrey, the actor Joffrey. Like if they saw him in real life, because they hate him. It's so anyway. I can get into the psychology. That is also
the little blonde boy who was like
Game of Thrones. He was like the tyrant, the bad guy of Game of Thrones. Just absolutely arrogant narcissist, just the worst of humanity.
Okay.
And
I know what you're talking about now.
But that's where parasocial stuff comes in. I
couldn't get past season 1.
Yeah, and that's where parasocial.
Season 1, and I was like, too much incest, too much dogs dying. I was like, ugh. So it was too much for me, and I don't have many moral boundaries when it comes to gross shit on the internet or on TV. Even Game of Thrones season 1, I was like, this brother sister thing, I don't know. Yeah, oof. And then I'm glad I didn't make it to season 8 because I've heard, although I do have to finish yeah, well, because he didn't finish the book, right? So HBO finished it for him.
I don't. A lot of people say that's what it was, but I think that there are a lot of things that the show writers did really well over what George R.R. Martin wrote.
Yeah, they just tanked at the end
because they got offered Star Wars and they wanted to go do Star Wars instead.
They rushed
just
it.
said, well, let's get this shipped out, and so we can go on to what we actually want to do because we are
those suck
excited
too, then.
about Star Wars.
Well, they didn't jump to a profitable ship. You want to talk about corrupt, deceitful, disgusting monetization? We can get into Disney. They have ruined everything I've loved. Where are my Muppets? They destroyed my Muppets. I wasn't ever a huge Star Wars fan, but boy, did they tank that. So yeah, I would just say I think you're correct in a lot of your points. That you have astute observations and empirical data that to back up what you're saying in terms of Twitch maybe attracting a little bit more than your average everyday Joe of people who are not quite as adjusted. I think as you go up the Twitch chain, I think you're more and more correct. I do think as you come down the chain and it's more intimate of a show, it's more intimate of a community. I think the positives, and I'll be able to tell you as we grow because we're going worldwide this year. So I will give you the specific. We're in the 1 million club on Instagram. We're about to hit the 1 million club on Facebook. We're not stopping. So when I get all the way to the top of the mountain, I'm coming back to you, Placebo. I'm going to let you know.
I would love.
I wish I had air horn.
I'm going to let you know. Clip this shit and put it on.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
Because Preach knows I'm going to either die of a heart attack or we're going to get to the top of the mountain. Either way. And I'll be able to compare.
I've actually thought about it. I've been like, hi, you got to chill, man. You get like 5 hours of sleep a night. You're not going to make it to enjoy it when you make it.
Do 5 hours a night.
Huh?
The president doesn't sleep 5 hours a night. He captured General Esperanza last night from Die Hard 2. He's being extradited back to the U.S. right now.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
That's the first thing I thought of when they got him, by the way. I thought of Die Hard 2 when Espinoza. By the way, Placebo, did you ever see Predator with Arnold?
No, I didn't.
Please. I think you would enjoy it. It's one of the most...
I like Predator?
Yeah, I do. I think it's one of the greatest films of all time. They study it in film school. It's insane. The first one with Arnold. However, I just want to tell you guys, Predator and Die Hard 2 take place in the same exact universe because the screenwriter was the same guy. And what he did was the country that Arnold goes into in Predator with his team into that fake country in South America, it's the same country that General Espinoza is being extradited back from to the United States in Die Hard 2. So John McClane and Dutch and the Predator all exist in the same, and Alien all exist in the same, universe of movies. I just thought that was really cool. I learned that a while ago. Yeah. Doug D'Souza, I believe was his name. Dan D'Souza was the famous screenwriter he wrote like Lethal Weapon. Like this guy was all over the place. He helped with that.
I like Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon's fun.
So Lethal Weapon was directed, was Richard Donner, who directed the 4 Lethal Weapon movies. He also did Superman, the movie with Christopher Reeves. With the first one.
Yeah.
And the guy who wrote Superman, the movie, actually wrote The Godfather, Mario Puzo. He wrote The Godfather and the screenplay to Superman.
Movie trivia.
Isn't that cool? But those are brilliant minds. I wish we had some of those minds today still. And a lot of because 2025 was not a very good year for movies. And I think Hollywood's kind of puttering out a little bit, more than a little bit.
As much as I enjoyed the F1 movie, it should not have been the best movie of the year, right? Like I
heard it was great. I haven't seen it yet. My number 1 movie of the year, it's probably Weapons. It's either Weapons or Sinners. Those are with Michael B. Jordan, which is basically Sinners, a remake of From Dusk Till Dawn. Or Weapons with Josh Brolin about the kids who run away at 2 a.m.
Yes, I've heard of Weapons. What is Weapons?
Fantastic.
It's
one of those movies you will not experience it the second time like you did the first time. It's the first time is the time.
That's
like
cool.
It's an event. The story is so good. And the event, when you figure out what it is, it's so wild, and it's like, it's a Sixth Sense kind of movie, where I see dead people, at the end of Sixth Sense. So, so yeah, I think Weapons is probably number one for me. And I think my biggest disappointment, although I'm watching the finale tonight, is Stranger Things season 5. Those suckers.
I couldn't get past season 1.
Yeah, well, I was born in the 80s, so I love season 1 because I was like living my childhood again. And I like season 2 a lot. Season 3 was
I can
okay.
validate on the overwhelming power of Ply's need for nostalgia in gaming and movies.
I don't know what you're talking about. Season 5 has been very Netflixed.
Mm-hmm.
And I made some videos on it and stuff, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's not going to watch it yet. But I'll talk shit about it in a few weeks. But it's sad because they're doing what they did with Game of Thrones. So they're dropping the ball so hard on the finale of the show. I think they're destroying the potential for the universe that should come after it. Meaning video games, spin-off show, books, everything like The Matrix ruined. Like The Matrix could have been as big as Star Wars if they had played it right. They didn't stick the landing, right? They tried to come back years later. It's one of the worst movies ever made. So I think Stranger Things is about to enter that category of shit. As I come into the final episode tonight, I'm going to be watching it. And I have to watch it because I'm committed now because I've been doing this.
Yeah.
I've had like 3 ex-wives since this show's been on. So I got to finish it now. You know what I mean? These kids are supposed to be 15 years old. They got fading hairlines now. They're old as shit, But I got to finish it, and I hope I can get through it okay. But it's just, it's dirty monetization. It's what it is. Degenerates running that show.
Bring us back to the initial topic of dirty monetization.
That's broadcasting. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to bring it all around again.
I thought Placebo was about to say something earlier, and then do you remember what I saw you kind of like perk like you were about to say, and then was there
I don't recall.
Okay, never mind then. If you
hope I was able to I hope I was able to counterpoint some of the things and give you food for thought as you did for me, Placebo.
Yeah, it was a great rally. I think the ball is hovering on the net right now, and it's like, is it going to go that way or the other?
Yeah. I thought something was interesting when we were talking about this. Give me a few more seconds. I know it's getting we started a little late, and then anyway. But I do think when we're talking about streaming going the wrong direction, I think you can see this in who are the big, like the way that streaming has evolved. When it was even say 10 years ago when Tim and Nick and those guys got started, it was kind of like you played a game and had conversations with your community, and it kind of had a little more of a community vibe. Now, if you look at how it is all about extreme dopamine release, right? It's people dance, it's Kai Cenat screaming, running around. It's the people he's raising up, right? Like the people like Ray, and it's all wild, loud, screaming, yelling, cussing, doing, going out into public and ruining other people's nights and doing it for views. You know how it's like the bigger streamers now are real life streamers, right? And they're the ones who are having this, like, I do think there's been a shift in what has started being the most monetarily beneficial. And it's, other than Peanut's one of the rare that I think still plays video games, and of course the amount of work he puts into making it do that to meet what these like real life crazy streamers are doing is fantastic. He has to have scene shifts and music and he has to do all this stuff to make it match. It's like, I'm just thinking of the Streamer Awards. Almost all of them were like part of that, like LA crew, the real life, the almost rage bait type streamers. And I do think there's something about streaming that has moved that direction a little bit.
I think it's a fad, though.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right, and it's not.
I think it's a 6-7 style fad.
I hope
6-7. I really do. I don't think a majority of the audience.
But I mean, that happened to news, right? Like news used to be at least semi-believable and semi-trustworthy, and it shifted that direction, and it
they did
stuck.
a good job.
So I'm worried that the money will make this fad Because money can do that. Money can absolutely shift. If
that's
what people are watching, and people are becoming more, because society is becoming more and more immediate dopamine, no self-control. I need everything now, temporary, no self-restraint. And if that's that's what they'll put their money to, then that's what the industry, instead of going, well, we should cap for moral reasons for human society. We should maybe calm this down. Yeah, that's never going to happen. Exactly. So it's like,
this is the United States. Money walks, bullshit talks. So once the money dries up, but people will move on to something else. I don't think a majority of people find that entertaining when someone's walking down the street being an annoying douchebag. I really think it's changing. I
hope.
I think in a couple years it's like bell-bottom jeans, bro. They're coming back, or like it's a fad right now that these you know what? If they're successful business people, but they're not sustainable long-term business people. They're not thinking about long-term if they're walking down the street pissing people off, you know, or being a jerk. I mean, and a lot of them are getting punched in the face live on the air.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't see it. I think
it's not just. I guess
you're
focusing. I'm also thinking of like people who are in their own room, like Kais and that, or like, gosh, it's not. Maybe Rakai. Rakai is one I'm thinking of. That's like just like it's all just chaos. Like their whole stream is chaos, and I'm just. There's a part of me goes, only time will tell. I guess. I'm hoping you are correct, and it's a fad, and
I would point
shift
to Hollywood.
back.
I would point to Hollywood and say for the past, since I'd say 2004, 2005, they've started to consistently shove the message down our throat and everything for the past 20 years. And their returns aren't what they used to be anymore.
It's true.
Everything's doing this.
A little bit,
like I know Kathleen Kennedy was so proud to say Star Wars is female, but there's no Star Wars anymore. So good luck with that. Like they're not money dries up, so you can pretend and want to do this or put your agenda in it, or the devil can sprinkle his little agenda in everything he does, like the music industry and all that other shit. It's cool. Mm-hmm. It doesn't. After a while, it just dries up. It's just gone. You gotta. So Hollywood's fucked, and another part of Hollywood being in trouble is what me and Placebo are debating and talking about right now. Is they have competition in us. They have competition in this podcast of brilliant minds getting together. They have competition on streaming. They have competition with home different streaming, but home streaming.
Yeah.
I have an 85-inch TV. I don't need to go spend $36 at the movie theater anymore. I can save my $36, watch my show at home with my 7.1 surround sound, and then spend my $36 on my favorite streamer's show and have my moment. And I think that's a better $36 than I can do that. You know what I mean? So
I think this. Okay, so I do think we've had a good conversation. I don't know this. I think I would like for us to take this and kind of mull it over, because I think this is one of those things where we can take the information. It's too much to all take it at one time, and then we'll have this again. Ply's going to be back multiple times. I know you get busy on weekends, but. Hopefully, the further we get away from
hanging out with you guys.
Yes, I enjoy having. I think this is a very good
parts of the week.
This is a great trio. I like this trio. And so obviously, I know Placebo probably has more points, and you will have more points, and we can revisit later in the future.
I'm sorry
That's all I'm
that
saying.
A lot of times I have to just bring I know anecdotal is I just have to bring that particular part, the circumstantial.
Well, yeah, but that's a good part of the argument. Yeah.
I think very often people get too caught up in like the documentation and the paperwork and what the data shows. And I think anecdotal evidence actually matters and is important. So I have no issue at all with you throwing that out. I love it.
But anytime, I appreciate that. And anytime you guys, I can speak as best I can from my personal experience of doing this for a long time.
That's why I wanted to wait for you. Like we were actually talking about. Yeah. We were kind of talking about this, and I was like, well, we can do it on a podcast. Like, let's wait for Ply, because I want to have a good round table on this. I don't want it just to be us.
I mean, maybe next week we can do Flat Earth. We can go right after it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you're down for it, I'll take the. I don't have school this week. I can take some. I can put some research in.
I'm ready. What's his name from the NBA? We can get him on here too. What was the guy's name?
Kyrie Irving was the one from the NBA.
Kyrie, we'll get him on here. We'll rip it, baby. We'll have a good time.
I'll bring Brody in too. Anyway.
Oh yeah, Brody. We can make teams. Microsoft Teams. Forget Discord.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
I'm just kidding.
maybe better for
Fine.
streaming. I don't know.
Putting me and Fly on the same side for one of these things.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. We dominate, bro.
I think it'd be all three of us on one side. I think it's pretty struggling.
No, you need to be the moderator. You're the.
I can't. I am the most
you're the
like.
referee.
The one argument
you're a
I would
bad
say for
referee,
that
yeah.
before we go, not I don't believe the earth is flat, but the one argument I can say for that they always throw, that they're not wrong. You've never been to space, bro. How do you know? They always say that, and it's true that I've never been up there to actually see the sphere.
It's true.
So I'm like, the government lies about a lot of shit, and that's where they get you, because they're like, because that's, like the moon landing. I actually don't believe in the moon landing. That's probably the one that I would end up on, the moon landing one, where I think Stanley Kubrick actually directed that bullshit, and we haven't been back since. And like, that's one where I could like go in on. But I'm like, I've never seen this. If you listen to Buzz now, Buzz has like dementia and stuff when he's doing interviews, and he's like, yeah, it'd be cool if we went to the moon. Like if we actually landed there. Like he slips sometimes. And Call of Duty actually convinced me we didn't go to the moon. Preach.
Oh, it was Call of Duty?
Do you remember? The zombie map?
Oh, okay. No, I don't remember this. I was gonna say, I know
Placebo probably didn't play this, but there was a mission back when me and Preach were younger. There was a zombie map, and I think it was Black Ops 2 when Call of Duty was good.
Mm-hmm.
And we played as President Kennedy. No, was it President Kennedy, President Nixon, Fidel Castro, and Robert McNamara were the four characters in the Pentagon fighting the zombies. Do you remember this?
No, God, I can't believe it. I must have.
It was awesome. It was one of the DLCs. You could buy the new zombie maps. And one of the rooms you walked into to unlock when you were trying to get away from
was
the
the film set?
Was the film set of the moon landing room.
That's funny.
Was in there with Kubrick's signature was on something in the room.
That's funny.
That was like, shit, we didn't go there.
Yeah, Call of Duty. I mean, if Call of Duty says it. Is there?
Back, and by the way, R.I.P.
You're gonna make a Placebo,
by the way,
huh? Oh, R.I.P. Yes.
I forgot. He died in a car accident a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I know I haven't been on here, but that guy changed a lot of lives and made a lot of childhoods when we were younger, and made a lot of thick-skinned millennials.
Mm.
So kudos to him, and may God rest his soul, because I learned more about my mother in those lobbies from a game that he created than I knew from my. You know what I mean? So, and he made me the tough I am
learned
today.
A lot about. I can't even say it. We're on stream.
Oh, okay. See, I can't either. So
I'm choosing the right path.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not. But I'm just kidding. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. I hope we had a good podcast
you too.
today.
Appreciate you. Yeah.
Send me some clips. I'll share them out on the Plyrock Nation show channels. As we hit millions and millions of people. It's absolutely incredible.
Millions.
I heard the channel's great. It's unbelievable. Let me tell you, General Espinaza coming home now. Coming home. We got him. So, anyway.
I appreciate you, Ply. Yeah, see you, bud.
All right, guys. See you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
All right, bye. All right, I will end the stream, or not the stream. I've been streaming too much. I will end the podcast. Appreciate you guys watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I thought it was a good conversation for the most part. You also got a little Hollywood knowledge there at the end. We will have more good conversations in the future. I can promise you that. I appreciate you coming by and hanging out, Placebo. I think you did solid work. I know it's
fun.
It's a powerful personality, and I appreciate it. Yeah, it's good.
I don't think he's wrong about anything he said. I view I think that I'm coming around on it in a very Thomas soul. There is good and bad in just about everything, right? There's only there's no solutions, only trade-offs.
Well, I think that's what I've always thought. It's just that's where I'm like, I think it's up to, there is a morality element of the streamers should. I think is what it is. Streamers should. It's almost like I wish they could be trained to think that. Yeah. Like, okay, is what I'm doing good for the people that I'm streaming to? I think that's where it's not a regulatory element, but they're
and I think Ply's right that it's not impossible for a streamer to do it in a good way. It's just hard, and it's not done that way quite often.
It's not the easiest way to be successful. I think that's really what it is. It's not the easiest way to be successful.
It's more effort for less money, really is what it is, and it's a moral demand. But anyway, another discussion.
I agree. I appreciate everybody. We've had a good podcast. even with the part that I'll have to edit out. We definitely made it over an hour. So happy. Everybody have a blessed
I
weekend.
my pants and
Yeah.
it was all.
It was
hanging.
crazy, man. Oh yeah, we were all naked running around. It was a wild time. But have a happy 2026 because this will go out definitely New Year because we're recording in the New Year. So everybody, happy New Year. Love you. I'm gonna end it. Bye. Mwah. Kiss 'ems.